Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode of the Moreno Show. Hope you guys are feeling good today. Guys, we have some breaking news. President Trump just said that he would consider giving a pardon to Ghislaine Maxwell, and everyone is freaking out about it, but we'll go ahead and dissect that a little bit further. Also, Democrats are again trying to dig themselves out of their coffin after yesterday's nightmare fiasco, which we covered in yesterday's show, but there's also a quick update on that, which I'm really excited to share. But without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get into it. Also, if you like conversations like this, if you think they matter, please consider liking and subscribing. It does make a huge difference. All right, check this out. So I wanted to start here on this quick segment from Fox News, essentially bringing everyone up to speed about Ghislaine wanting a pardon. So let's go ahead and play this out.
New at 2, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche's meeting with convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell has ended. This as critics are calling for more transparency in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Welcome back as we head into hour 2 of America Reports. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and Bill, great to have you here today.
Great to be with you as well, Sandra. I'm Bill Malugin in Los Angeles. John Roberts has the day off. That meeting Sandra just mentioned just wrapped up moments ago. Maxwell was escorted back to the prison from the courthouse in Tallahassee. Her attorney said they had a, quote, productive meeting with Blanche, but details of their talks still remain under wraps right now.
All right, Fox Team coverage is at the ready. Chief legal correspondent Shannon Bream is live here in New York City, standing by with analysis. But first, let's get to our justice correspondent, David Spunt. He's got the latest from Washington for us. So, David, what else did Maxwell's attorney say?
Well, he said a lot. We wish we could be in and hear what was said in the actual meeting. This meeting was a lot shorter than it was yesterday, but this was a 2-day event. The highlight, though, it appears that her team wants a pardon. Watch.
We're going to take one day at a time. I know that's very cliche, but it's true because things are happening so quickly. We haven't spoken to the president or anybody about a pardon just yet. And listen, the president this morning said he had the power to do so. We hope he exercises that power in the right and just way.
So Ghislaine is back in the spotlight, not because she is innocent, but because she has information people want, names, clients, secrets, truths that people want exposed. Now, is this in exchange of a pardon? Would that be right? I think the answer to that question depends on how much you are willing to pay for the truth. Because if this says anything, it's that there's going to be a clear cost of the truth. And now this is President Trump talking about this. Check it out.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if
it's something I haven't thought about. It's really something
recommended.
It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
But you wouldn't rule it out, sir?
So there we go. President Trump says that he's allowed to do it, but nothing else. All right, this isn't an endorsement. This isn't him saying, "Oh, I'm confirming to do this idea." Like, of course, I've thought about it. No, he just said he doesn't think, he's not thinking about it. So, is this on the table? Well, I saw this from The Guardian, and I thought this was interesting. It kind of gives us a little peek as to what Maxwell's lawyers are saying. So I will just go ahead and read all this, and then you can decide for yourself what you want to think and believe. Ghislaine Maxwell's attorney, David Oscar Marcus, has said the Deputy Attorney General has finished his questioning for the day, NBC News reports. We started this morning right around 9 o'clock and went to now lunchtime, and we're finished after all day yesterday and today. Ghislaine answered every single question asked of her over the last day and a half. She answered those questions honestly, truthfully, to the best of her ability. She never invoked a privilege. She never refused to answer a question. Marcus told reporters as he left the federal courthouse in downtown Tallahassee, Florida. They asked about every possible thing you could imagine. Everything. The Justice Department has not said whether Blanche intends to question Maxwell further. Marcus has said he did not know whether the discussions would have any impact on her case. We don't know how it's going to play out. So that is the latest in the development. Let me know how that's making you all feel right now. So would a pardon be controversial? Absolutely. Are they talking about something that some would consider unthinkable? Sure. But would it be unheard of? All right. Now, I'm reminded of this moment with Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre, where she went ahead and said repeatedly that Hunter Biden would not receive a pardon. The President Biden's White House said this for months on end. And what ended up happening? Hunter Biden got a pardon. All right, so I'll go ahead and play this one clip. There are countless like it, though. All right, check this out.
You've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentence for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying it would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
It could not be any clearer. All right, Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre saying no. It's going to be a no. It'll always be a no. President Biden will not pardon Hunter Biden. But here's an interesting factoid. Not a lot of people know this, but check this out. Biden only hand-signed one pardon during his final spree, and it was the most controversial one. All right, look at this. Biden used his final weeks as commander-in-chief to grant clemency and pardon more than 1,500 people in what his White House described as the largest single-day act of clemency by a U.S. president. And check this out. These pardons include Fauci, Mark Milley, and members of the House committee investigating January 6th. But look at this. This is the most controversial one. But the former president signed one by hand. Biden pardoned his son, Hunter, in December 2024 after vowing to the American people for months that he would not do so. He signed this one by hand, assuming all the others, the other 1,500 during the last couple weeks of him being commander-in-chief, were signed by the infamous auto pen. So, you know what? Is a pardon out of the question? President Trump says that it is very well within his power. So I guess the real question is, how much do the American people want this, right? How much is information valued at? I guess only the American people could answer that question. I'd love to know what you think about all this. But you know what? Another thing happened today that the Democrats are still attempting to recover from. All right, look at this. The Democrats posted saying it's time to give Americans a raise. And it's a graph showing that the federal minimum wage has not changed since 2009. All right. What is interesting, though, is from 2009 to 2025, do you have any idea how many years the Democrats held office? Of the past 16 years since 2009, Democrats held office for the past 12 of them. Look at this response by End Wokeness. They wrote that 71% of those years were under Democrat rule. So you know what? Democrats for a really long time, and this is coming from a former Democrat, so I feel like I have some sort of saltiness here that I could inject. But Democrats for so long have always told us, like, vote blue for real change. Vote blue so you could actually make a meaningful difference. But if this graph says anything, it's that after 12 years under Democratic control, it tells me that they actually don't want change. If they wanted to, they would have. They could have. They literally could have. But their goal wasn't to serve the American people. Their goal was to serve themselves. It's self-righteousness, and it's terrible. So should this number be higher? I mean, I'm not so sure. I'm not an economist. So, like, whenever I look at this, and like, a part of me does want to get upset about minimum wage, but another part of me wants to just know that the minimum wage being this price and it being uncomfortable to so many people, like, I don't think solving this would be solving a problem. I think solving this would be solving a symptom of a problem. The dollar doesn't stretch as far as it used to. And this is a real this is a real problem that real people are struggling with. They are battling with it every single day. They feel it at the gas pump. They feel it when they're grocery shopping. Like I said, say what you want about it, but this is a genuine issue. Now, are we working to right this wrong? I would say we are. Like, could tariffs help? Absolutely. Could a boost in domestic manufacturing put a dent in this? Absolutely. Do tax cuts to the middle class actually help? Yes. I think all of these things have a material impact on the economy. So I do hope that this number becomes more comfortable with all those other things that are working behind the scenes. But I don't know if minimum wage is a problem to be solved more than it's the catalog of mistakes that we need to figure out. Right? There is a housing crisis. There is an unemployment crisis. There are many jobs that are waiting to be filled. We do have a worker shortage, and these are very real problems. But we need to, whenever we look at a problem, we need to make sure that we're looking at the root problem, not just a symptom of a problem. And I do fear that whenever we talk about the federal minimum wage, we're looking at a symptom, right? Not a problem. But that is just my opinion. I welcome other analysis to this conversation. But another interesting thing that happened yesterday, I'm going to bring up my video because this was just hilarious to see. In yesterday's video, I brought up how the Democrats self-owned this nightmare scenario, right? Look at this. The Democrats, Trump's America, they shared this image saying U.S. grocery prices reached record highs in 2025. And we also showed this image indicating the Biden era of things. But what is absolutely hilarious is that they literally deleted this image. All right. This image does not exist anymore on their X account. All right. So they were sick of being proven wrong over this nightmare. All right. And I just think it is very much hilarious. All right. Anyways, that is the video. That's all I wanted to share for right now. That's the latest updates on the news. And if more happens, I'll be more than happy to cover that. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section. And I'd love to know what you really think about the federal minimum wage. Like, am I wrong here? Is this a problem, or is this a symptom of another problem? All right. I'm not so sure, but you let me know about all that. And also let me know how you feel about this potential of, or President Trump potentially pardoning Ghislaine and Maxwell. Do you think that would be right? Do you think there should be this exchange of truth for a pardon, or not? All right. I'd love to know what you think about all that. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. If you made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. It really does make a meaningful difference to me. And I will see you on next time. We are so close to 50,000 subscribers. We're about 2,000 subscribers away, which obviously sounds far, but I'm someone who believes in miracles and believes in the impossible. So you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's make it happen. All right. Thank you so much. And I will see you all next time. Have a great day out there. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.